Hi everyone. In this video, we will cover the topic of monitoring. So we will go through some monitoring tools and then some try to configure some alerts and go through the logs. Okay, so let's start by creating the resource group. So let's create our first resource group. We will keep only one resource group for now. So resource group East US, and let's create it. Perfect. And now let's create a storage account. I will show you why we need the storage account later in the video. So in our resource group, and I will call it, let me call storage one storage. And as you know, we usually create a locally redundant storage option. And let's wait for it to create. Okay, it's in the process. Okay, perfect. So that's created. Now let's create our VM. So we're going to use this VM to create the alerts, monitoring, and the logs. So let's create VM. I'm just going to call it VM1. Let's give it a bit high spec because it's just going to be one VM. And let's say our account. Okay, we created our username and let's allow it, and let's go next. Networking tab, this tag we're going to leave it like that. Networking, we will not make any change. And let's go to the next one. Okay, under the management, the reason why we created the storage account because we're going to put the logs there. So just select enable with custom storage account, and then it will populate your storage account. If you have multiple, then you can choose. And from here, we will leave the setting as it is. Next, and then next, and let's create. Okay, we will give it a few minutes while it's creating. Let's start our putty. And let's customize our putty settings. Okay, let's hit create. Perfect. And these two sessions running from the past test. So I'm just gonna close it. Let's start it again. So let's start putty. And I usually change the color. Let's use a bit brighter color here. Okay, and then in the appearance, change bold, and I will make it a bit bigger. Okay, let's wait for the public IP address. Okay, perfect. So our VM is created now. Okay, now let's grab the public IP address and let's log into our VM. Okay, hold on, we got to open. I think we not after this one, so let's go. Okay. Let's use our okay, perfect. So our VM is created now. Okay, now let's start. I'm just going to leave this window on the side and let's start seeing what's going on. So under your VM, if you click on the overview, let me go back. So you got this is our default window comes up when you click on overview, and then you got monitoring option here. So as you can see, we just started the VM. So it tells about the monitoring, how much network is being used, what's the disk, because this is the time when we build the machine, it picks up some disk. And now you can see it's coming down since it's built. And then CPU is like average. There's nothing happen on much on the CPU, and then the operation is here. So what we will do, let's configure the monitoring pieces first and logs, and then we will come to the uh, monitoring piece under this review. Let me quickly pause and wait for the monitoring to happen. So we did let it run for a few minutes and there is nothing happening, as you can see. So what we will do now, let's try to, yeah, let's see, it's something started, but not that much. So let's see what we can do with the, let me do the ping here. See if we can able to ping like 8.8.8.8 and see some traffic is going on. And what I will do, so we will try to monitor CPU, network, and disk, all of them. So I will let it run, and let me duplicate this session. And okay, in here, what I will try to do, there's a command which we can use, but let's install first sudo, let me elevate it, and let's get update stress. Stress invalid operation. Okay, let me get this command quickly. Okay, we did let it run the network piece for some time. You can see it's coming up and down, and even the CPU is bit up and down because it's been utilizing the CPU. Okay, now let's run the stress command which I mentioned. Stress hyphen CPU. Okay, we need to install the package. After install stress. Done. Okay, that was seems to be quick. And let's try to see if we can use is hyphen CPU. Okay, let me try with sudo apt install. Reading state information done. Okay, it's not getting it installed. Just give me a second. Let me get the command. Okay, so we install the package stress apptech install. We have to update the apptech uh, update command first, and then after that, once you run it, it's installed. Now let's do stress hyphen CPU. Just wait the argument. Me to sudo hyphen CPU and C using argument option. Okay, let's quickly check what is causing problem. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's give it a value 4. Don't have to use sudo here. We're already running under the sudo. Okay, so what it have done, it have start using the CPU, as you can see, and our CPU is this at the moment. So it's being used like quite high at the moment. So let's see how it goes. Our disk, as you can see, it is being used when we were pinging it, but then it was coming down here, this operation as well. So let's try okay, we will leave this one running in the background, and let me run the disk operation as well. This stress hyphen hyphen IO, and let's give it the value of 6 maybe. Okay, so these two are running in the background, and we will leave it on the side now, and let's try to configure other bits. Okay, so now let's quickly check our storage account where we have done the uh, configuration when we are building the machine. So let's go to container. Here you go. You can see this is the boot diagnostic. So these are the settings we choose when we are building the machine. So these are the logs. Let's quickly check the logs, how they look. Let's download and open them there. Yep, this is our uh, VM logs when we were building it. They're quite a bit, to be honest. So if you scroll down, you can see all the activities. And then if you go to the, you can see the screen when the machine was booted. It should show the VM startup screen probably. Yes, it came to my other machine. So if you scroll up, you can see it just shows the login screen. Okay, so that's done. Now let's try to check the monitoring. So at the moment, there is no monitoring configured. So let's try to configure some monitoring. So let's go to our virtual machine option here. And then you can see under the monitored, it says monitor, which is 0, and non-monitor is 1 under the VM. You can check the same under the storage device as well. So it is actually monitoring our storage account, as you can see. Transition, it will tell you, but for the VM, it's not configured yet. Let me last 30 minutes. This is the activity in the last 13 minutes on our storage account. You can create the workbook as well, but let's do it for virtual machine first. So at the moment, virtual machine, there is no monitoring. Enable is there, but it's not enabled. You can see the performance as well. It will show the performance is error retrieving data because there is nothing configured yet. So this was just gonna show the maps. Okay, there is nothing configured like I said. So let's go back to virtual machine. And click under the non-monitor and just select which machine you want to enable, since we got only one machine, which is VM1, and I will enable it here. It should give us option. It can 5 to 10 minutes to get it done. But what I'm trying to do, let's create a workbook first and then configure underneath that one. So let's create a workbook, add a workbook, and let's no, actually it's not gonna work here. So we will let it create automatically. So let's don't worry about this one here. So let's go to virtual machine, monitored, enable it, and choose. This is the default workbook it will create, and just enable. Okay, we will let it run. It will take some time. While it's doing it, let me duplicate. Yeah, it's been duplicated already. That's good. I think let me go back to our VM and try to go under the monitoring. And as you can see, the CPU jumps up quite high. Networking bit come down. Let me show you, still running on the side. So we got CPU, we got IO disks running, we got CPU, stress running at the moment, which will trigger some activity. And as you can see, it's quite high. So let's get our CPU down now. So let me do Control Z, so it will kill CPU completely. The extra stress we are giving to the CPU extra activity. So you will see it will start coming down in a minute. And networking is coming down, and this operation was quite high. As you can see, we haven't touched the disk yet. So while CPU is coming down, let's run the option for our disk, which is HDD. Let's make it 100. Let's get this value quite high. So if I do refresh, so data can take some time. So we just gonna wait. Okay, while it's doing the data analysis, let's wait for this one to finish. I think it's still creating it. Yeah, it's still in a process of creating it. It will be interesting to see how this data will work. Okay, I'm gonna pause this video because we don't want to make a very lengthy video, and I will come back when we have some data. Ah, you can see I haven't paused yet. The disk have shoot it up already, and I will see you in a minute then. Hello again. So yeah, as you can see, yep, as you can see, we have stopped the CPU. Okay, that's fine. As we have stopped the CPU stress level, and it came down now. But the disk is, we were running the disk, yes. So we are still running the disk here, and the disk is going up, as you can see. Okay, let's see if our monitoring inside. Yep, that's deployed. Perfect. So let's go to the resource itself, monitoring one. Sorry, I need to go here under the virtual machine. You can see it's enabled, but I think we need to give it another few minutes. Let's do a refresh. Okay. I think it's still in a process of getting it deployed. Don't want the project yet. Okay, we will wait for another few minutes. You can see log events, alert, only alert the signal. Yep, you can see all those settings there as well. But we will still wait because I don't think so it's fully deployed yet. You can see the CPU usage. We have selected the workbook. Okay, so you just give some more time. It should come up pretty quick, but not sure why it's taking too long. Okay, we will leave this one running and we will come back to this later on. Okay, now let's check another thing. Let me go back to the VM and try to see. So you can get the settings from here as well. So if you go on the VM and scroll down, you can see the monitoring piece. Your workbooks are here. You can create it from here as well. Not sure that workbook is created, but seems to be it's yes. And then the logs you can do it from here as well. And what you can do for the log, I'm just gonna show you. So if you go to log analytics workspace and just click here. Okay, so you can create a log analytics from here. Let me create one in the same resource. I think that's where I was doing it wrong. So if I call it log VM1 and region is our East US, and then let's create next here, which is the 4. Let's go next and create. Keep monitoring our, you can see the CPU come down pretty much now, and then disk is still running. Let it is down, yep. iOS, which is this one, yep. Okay, now let's try our CPU utilization. Yeah, it's jumped again because let's jump it back again and see. Okay, we were there. Yep, that's deployed, and we call it what we call this one as. Okay, and then we can go to workbooks, and we can create a new workbook here. So let's go back to workgroups. You can go to the logs as well. That's what you were looking earlier. You can run the query on what type of things you want. So if I select from here my virtual machine, and then what type of chart I want, a CPU usage trend chart, just click here. The thing is that it will not come quick, it will take a lot of time. I was doing the testing before, and it will take some time. We will let it run and see if we can able to capture something. So we log. Okay, now what I need to check, if I go to, let me open another tab. We have this one running. Okay, we get rid of this. We got monitoring, our monitoring piece running. And let me go back and let me go to monitors, and let's go to virtual machine. Okay, let's delete this one because I'm keen to create this one from the scratch. It seems to be not working honestly. So let's get rid of this. Okay, I need to find, let's go to overview. Yep, there is nothing there. Alerts, nothing there. Oh, these are alerts. But we will create alert in a different window as well. Ah, here we go. Yeah, it just took its time, but it's back now. As you can see, this is their performance should be coming up. Yep. It tells you the logical disk performance, how it is. See, it was up, and since we cancel, is going down. So I'm pretty sure the CPU, which should be, we should have a data of CPU soon as well. You can change the settings from here as well. So CPU is being 100% at the moment. And this is just a prediction, no data yet because it's still working on it. Okay, this way you can check even the health. You can enable those settings. Let me enable it, and I think I need to have, let me see if it let me do it under the free tier. Yeah, you need to be careful about those tier as well because you don't want to end up paying it. Okay, so we check the monitoring thing which I was trying to do. I think that's pretty much covered here with monitoring thing. This is our drive storage. Yeah, as you can see, so let me go back. It did pick up peak here. So with the monitoring, you need to be with patience, keep looking on the data coming in. Yeah, it says not enabled, but as you can see, we had the data coming in, logs are there, alerts are there, VM compute 3, yep, that's fine. Alerts are there. That's okay. Let's see if that got deployed, which we were trying to do. Let's go to monitor virtual machine. Okay, while it's doing it, let's jump on to alerts as well. So you can see alerts from here, but let me go from here. Let's try to, so we got one set up. Let's try to create a rule for alert. So this is, which is done by default. So select a resource. Let's give it a minute to load. So the resource is here. Okay, filter by the resource type. So what we are after is the VM. That's virtual network. We're after the VM. Yep, virtual machine. And this is the one which we want to create. Alert on, just click done. And then condition, add condition. What type of condition you want? So I'm trying to get CPU percentage. It's already going up. So what alert will do, it will let, I will show you once we are doing it. So operation greater than total, so threshold, I will say 70. So these are the points where it went above 70. Okay. And after every 1 minute, because I'm just doing the demo. So I just want to see it's happening and done. So we created the scope, what resource. So we're creating alert rule here, what resource you want to create on, what condition and what action it will take. So let's try to add the action, create the action group. I will call under the resource group, I will call it action one, or first action we want to take. Now click notification. What type of notification you want? So I will go for email notification, and then okay, should give us option. Okay, cancel this because we don't. Okay, just wondering, it should give us. Oh, yeah, we need to choose a second option. Yeah, and email, and let me put my personal email, gmail.com, and it will click OK. I will call this my email rule connection. Don't want to set any action on this one. Next tag, and let's hit create. Okay, that's created. Now we need to create the rule. I will call it email CPU rule. Just we're gonna leave it. I will put it on critical. So we'll straight away get the notification, and let's create that alert rule now. Okay, that rule has been created. It might take few minutes. Okay, once you create this rule, you should the email address which I've put down. I should receive an email on that one. Let me bring my yep. Let me bring my other account. So I'm just gonna keep it here. Yep. As you can see, I did get a notification from Microsoft about this. You have been added to it as our monitoring action piece here. So I'm just gonna wait, and you will see after a few minutes if the CPU utilization is too high, I will straight away get a email back. So this is how we are creating our notification. Okay, there is nothing come up here. It will take some time. So I think you got the idea how to get this one done. So we will go back to our, yep, you can see a lot of activities. So the graph is moving forward, up and down, because we are running some stuff here. Hard disk is, this was our IO, no, not hard disk yet. Let me duplicate. And while we are waiting for alert to come, we will try to get hard disk moving as well. So if I put password, search DD. Okay, so hard disk. This is our IO input output, and then this is our CPU. So while we're waiting for our alert, let's see what action it will take. So like I said, alert was done. As you can see, it's already sending out. Let me refresh. Should be alert there soon. Yep, we got the error alert, which was by default created. Then we got critical. These are warnings. So that's what we have configured. So let's see two alerts. Critical error fired, which means gone. Platforms is a health alert, metrics alert coming up as well. Alert CPU, that's the one which we have created. And this is set critical. So let's see if we have received the email about our CPU or not. Let me refresh. Okay, we haven't received the email yet. So this is how you can create more alert rule depending on what you want to do. You can create on your database, you can create on any resources you got. Okay, and now let's check our, let me do a refresh. Okay, still it's working on it. So this one we saw, we said it's not, okay, perfect. So just gonna move, bring my account over. Yep, we got just received alert just now, and it tells me the resource alert send alert was triggered about the CPU utilization. Threshold is more than 70, and then all the descriptions are under there. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. We tried to cover alerts. We have covered monitoring piece. We have gone through the log analysis as well. So pretty much everything is covered, which we are trying to do. Let me check one last piece here while we are here. So that's connected. Perfect. Okay, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in another video at some point. Bye for now.